Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for what I'm sure has not been a wonderful Wednesday for many in the cryptocurrency market. Today, we've got a lot on the agenda. This is going to be our daily cryptocurrency market update. And there's a lot to talk about. You know, we've got a lot to go through. We're going to be looking at and really trying to put things into perspective because it's very easy when the markets are currently doing what they're doing to panic and to become emotionally involved. I'm guilty of it myself. But it's always good to take a sort of measured approach at looking at this market. Today is a very significant day. So we're going to kick off. I'll just run through what we're going to go over. We're going to kick off with our sort of macro view, where we're at. You guys know we were looking at these levels. Now we're at them. What do we think comes next? Well, I think that's largely going to depend on the CPI data reveal today, which is the Consumer Price Index for the United States, which essentially is the main mechanism the Federal Reserve, who is in charge of monetary policy, will use to look at how inflation is doing, how bad it is, or how it's kind of, where it's at. That comes out today. April Consumers Price Index report expect to show inflation has already peaked. So these are the expectations. The consensus is about 8.1. And then, of course, we've got 8.2 for the forecast. And 8.5 was what we previously had last month. My thoughts are in markets, and we'll start with this really, in markets that are looking for relief, a topping out of inflation, or certainly it will be taken that way. I think inflation actually could be higher on the next one if we do get a low one on this one. A topping out of inflation would give markets that relief. And that's why, we've mentioned, yes, we did trade a lot of altcoins short during this, but for the large part, we're out. We don't want to be shorting into main data reveal, and the FOMC really showed everybody and taught them that lesson if they hadn't already learnt it. So let's get into it all, and then I'll finish on, Daquan has actually come out and given a kind of overview of the situation with UST, sorry. And it's not really too much resolve, I should say, sorry. It's not, the basic consensus is that, this is going to be a problem that's ongoing until it fixes itself. And they've set out ways that they think that's going to happen, but, it isn't going to be an overnight thing. They're not going to be back rocking and rolling given just how volatile everything is. So let's get into it, guys. Rather a long intro, but again, lots and lots to talk about. And we'll also mention we spoke in yesterday's video about a paid group that we were thinking about setting up. The response that we got was amazing. So stay tuned for that, guys. Ignore any scammers in the comments. We will be looking to do that, build sort of a community moving forwards. But I'll announce it all on this channel. I just need to facilitate it in terms of getting a Discord set up, getting a payment method set up and newsletter and everything else. So this is where we're at. We've been looking at this long-term regression bands for Bitcoin, and we've been looking at it for a while now. We have been telling people that you've got to be very cautious in the cryptocurrency market at the moment, given everything going on and certainly what's taking place with the Fed. We've had people on to speak about it. But this is what we were looking at, a breaking down of this mid-range and potentially a capitulation kind of break like we've seen previously. Now, I'm not touching, what we'll do is drop down the timeframes Bitcoin here in terms of longing or shorting it. You guys know I hold spot Bitcoin. That's there for the next 5 years. And I'll look for any opportunity I can to accumulate that with a basket of altcoins that have proven themselves worthy, if you will. Not touching Bitcoin at this level because it's a serious level of support on multiple occasions. So I won't long or short this until I've figured out what's going to happen, until we've got that data reveal. Because again, I'm expecting markets to see some kind of a relief off the back end of a lower CPI price than we had previously. Bitcoin right now looks like it wants to break, potentially to the upside. However, if I'm level to level in this and trying to intraday trade it, I wouldn't touch it right now because you're at a resistance level and you need to see some sort of a deviation if you want to trade this smaller range. And then, of course, you can play for the bigger ones. But right now, I'm not touching it. I'm going to let the water clear before I jump in. You don't want to jump into shark-infested waters when you can't see what's beneath you. So that's my stance on Bitcoin. What do I think's probable? Well, again, if we get this data reveal and these data points that the Fed are giving, as crypto investors, even though you may have no experience with the traditional financial world, and we bring on far more experienced people than myself to talk about what's going on in that world, you need to pay attention to this kind of data because this is what's driving markets at the moment. Monetary policy, very simple. It's gone from being extremely accommodating in March 2020 to extremely to be extremely sort of non-accommodating. So what do I think happens? Well, ultimately, you know, what I'm looking for is, I don't know, this is a messy chart, guys. I've been drawing this over the couple of days and changing it. So I'm sure I've got a lot worse charts than that. I didn't mean to pull up the lunar one. What I think you could do is you could see some sort of a price appreciation on the back end of this. You could maybe be looking for this 35K. And then I think that gets killed because I think the ultimate tone has been set. And one slightly lower CPI print, yes, it will provide short-term relief, but the gravity of the overarching situation in regards to what the Fed are doing, you know, they're going to start reducing the balance sheet in June on top of another 50% basis point hike. That's the probable play if this number comes out lower. If it comes out higher, I think your markets look for more downside. And I think when you've got a lot of people looking for relief, I guarantee, even though I don't recommend trading these events, people will trade into that event before they even know what the data is. You're literally spinning the wheel at that point and hoping for a 50-50% chance of your long or short paying off, because you're going to have to watch, in my opinion, how the market reacts after that data has been revealed. So this is, you know, what we've got. I think you could see further appreciation. You come and you reclaim this level, you hold it, you don't get that deviation below it, you're looking for more continuation. And I think markets are looking for relief across the board. The main thing to watch, by the way, guys, is the likes of the S&P, Apple, the NASDAQ, because these are currently seeing some sort of relief. That will continue if inflation is deemed to be peaking. The only issue that I have, and why I wouldn't jump in on the face of that, is, well, okay, just because it's come down slightly lower on this one doesn't mean that the next one isn't going to be higher. You know, and that also doesn't mean that the gravity of what the Fed are doing has been any lessened, because they're set on that journey, subject to change moving forwards as data reveals. So you want to watch the likes of the S&P 500. This, I don't believe that the market has actually opened for the US yet. So obviously the NASDAQ, and we've got macro head and shoulders across the board on here, guys. And that leads me to believe if this sees a sell-off, your US equity indexes, that's likely to send things with it. You know, that's the correlation that we've seen. There is some good takeaways, by the way, about all this, because VCs are clearly and institutions are clearly interested in trading the cryptocurrency market. You know, we're seeing that. I mean, if you look at, you know, we are going to stop going on about TERRA, but this crash, that is not a retail crash, by the way, guys. Yes, you do have retail crashes that mimic that in the sense that they, you know, can be to that magnitude. But this is big money going, right, we're out. You know, and I think that's scared. And there's a few takeaways from the Luna situation. We did make an earlier video, but this is going to bring regulators absolutely kicking and screaming into the cryptocurrency market, even more so than they already were. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if there's some sort of orchestration of all this. You know, in this market, regulators are looking for reasons to get involved. And this is, you know, a perfect one in regards to their UST. And like I said, Daquan did come out with a kind of thread for the community. But that's really where we're at. You know, we're going to make our assessment on things moving forwards once that CPI data has been revealed, because that's going to tell me everything that I need to go to know moving forwards. It's going to give me the confidence to move forwards. The problem I've got is if you do get some sort of a relief and then you get a fizzle again, well, you've got quite a big gap, and we'll take the long-term regression bands. And I'll just bring these points up, but don't take these as gospel because they may not happen. You've got gaps here with no real consolidation. If we break this 30K level, and the same fear actually was over here and here for where we currently are at this range. If you break that, if we see some sort of relief that gets very quickly killed because people are understanding the macro situation and the gravity of it, where's your consolidation? Potentially here. And you've got a little bit there of consolidation points. These are your targets that you're going to be looking at if this goes higher, rejects, deviates, and comes back down into these ranges moving forwards. And then the big one is the prior high. These are not all 100% probable, but they're possible and things that you need to watch moving forwards. On top of that, we'll pull up our long-term regression bands. And also, guys, we've been pointing out this 3-day cross here. What were we using? The 250, I believe. Death cross. You had one here. and you had one here. And this is why we've been showing you this chart, because the setup is just too similar. Forget your guys on Twitter, forget your YouTubers that are still, and there is hope in this. You know, crypto does recover, and I do think it goes on and lives a very long, happy, prosperous life. But I think in any market, there's turmoil, and understanding when when you know seas are calm and when they're rough is really going to save you a lot of heartache. And this is rough seas right now, guys. Another thing I want to point out in regards to this logarithmic chart, you know, you can see, where are we? What happens here, guys? You break this, you get your death cross, and eventually you make your way down to the lower band. That was 2014, 2017. You break this, and with this one, it was more instant, but you definitely come back and you test this lower bound. Is there any reason, and your lower bound where we're currently sat, by the way, guys, actually is coming at around about 22K. What are the reasons it doesn't get there? Give me those reasons. I don't think it's potentially likely, but I think when you equate the magnitude of the situation with what the Fed are doing, and when you look at the equity market and how shaky it is, it's not going to get there overnight, by the way, I don't think, guys. Then you kind of get a feeling that this market could potentially be looking to go lower. And if you're looking to accumulate, guys, that is the time to do it. And we spoke about introducing a paid group. You guys know I've been wanting to do a newsletter for a while, but I thought, okay, why not create a sort of community where the newsletter is included. We have weekly meetings, and we try and sort of, you know, help each other out. And you know, I'll try and give the best knowledge that I can possibly offer on everything, and look for opportunities that are going to present themselves. We've been saying for a long time, we're going to be loading up on altcoins. We just need those buy zones to get tagged, and we're not there yet. Talking about altcoins, let's look at the total market cap excluding Bitcoin. Realistically, and you're at a, you know, quite a key point here, but realistically, this of course is the 3-day. What are the reasons you don't come down to after May's sell-off lows? It's all probable, and you guys have got to prepare yourself for anything. All of what I'm saying to you, by the way, may not happen. You know, Bitcoin may find support. You may get some absolutely amazing news that really tilts this market on its head. But we've had amazing news throughout this entire downtrend that just hasn't deterred the kind of direction of the markets from the current situation. But there's some amazing takeaways, guys. You know, this is clearly now an industry that institutions have interest in. They will pump it, just like they're currently crashing it. It's not really a crypto crash, but it is in many sense in regards to a lot of what the price is doing. So when you look at the likes of Luna, but there's also an amazing opportunity at hand, and the overall thesis is, and it's why I hold spot crypto. Yes, we'll short the derivatives market just because we want to hedge our bets, and if we can make money, we'll do that. But you know, over the next 5 years, guys, as long as you've invested in the right cryptocurrencies, you know, it's rinse and repeat, accumulate, distribute, and the next accumulate, distribute phase is, you know, I'm still a believer Bitcoin gets to 100K plus eventually. That is all I have for you in this video, guys. If you've enjoyed this content, a like is always appreciated. So is a comment, and I look forward to seeing each and every one of you in the next YouTube video. Yeah, thanks a lot for watching, guys. Enjoy your Wednesdays.